Hey guys, welcome to another battle analysis. I'm Stephen from Vanguard Tactics and we have an awesome battle report lined up for you today. So in this battle report we are going to be doing an ITC 2000 point mission, and we have got the almighty boys in gold, the Custodies, versus 3 knights and also a little surprise. So guys, I'm going to introduce you to the players that we've got today. Obviously, the one and only legend, Mark.
I'm back by my mum's demand. She said, get back on that channel, get them golden boys out, see what they can do.
Yeah. So Mark's mum, thank you for subscribing and being one of our best patrons. We really appreciate it. And also, flying over just a short distance, just to come on the channel today, and this is the dedication that we want on Vanguard Tactics. Introduce you guys to Brian. How you doing, mate?
Doing pretty well.
So where have you flown from?
The United States, the Western United States.
Whereabouts specifically?
Utah, so I'm just out of Salt Lake City.
Nice. And the reason why Brian is coming on the show today, obviously, you know, it was his dream. He was like, Steve, I really want to get on that channel. I'm going to fly over. I want to be on it. And I was like, okay, well, fit you in, maybe. Let's see what I can do. Yeah. Anyway, so the reason why Brian is coming over from the States as well is because as of yesterday, we ran the first ever coaching masterclass for 40k. This has never ever been done before, and it was something that I really wanted to do, and you know, some great support from Mark, Mac.
I don't know.
Mac is a combination.
He's cheating on us. Why?
Mac is a combination of you and Jack.
Okay.
Together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just couldn't fit Dan in there as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've had some great support from Mark, from Jack, from Dan, and we put on an amazing day yesterday. A jam-packed day, absolutely excellent. The lessons were fantastic, and hopefully you got a lot from it as well. I know I certainly enjoyed it. And also, the reason why we wanted to get Brian on the channel today, Brian has been absolutely smashing it since you joined our mentorship program.
Yeah, back in February.
When it started.
Yeah, I've had 3 tournaments since then. So I played in the BAO, the Gentleman's GT down in Las Vegas, and then the Boise Cup, all with the same list that I'm bringing today.
And this was a list that we've been kind of working on with you, you know, it's something that we've been talking about on the mentorship and really developing, hopefully, you as a player, and ultimately just going from success, to, you know, from wins to more wins at tournaments. So where did you first start with in like the tournament scene?
So I started back in January. I essentially was talked into it by the tournament organizer at my store, and he said, hey, you gotta try this out, you gotta do this, you gotta get in. And I played Admech with 2 Helverins and forgot that they had 43 shots instead of 2d3 shots apiece. Okay. And they did not do very well that tournament.
Tactics, that is.
Yeah.
Know your rules. Yeah.
I decided to take less shots than I needed because...
You didn't need it.
Yeah, I ended up losing that tournament pretty hard. But because of that, I wanted to become more competitive. I saw that Steve was doing this, and I said, you know what? He's a good teacher. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get tactics across to people. And so I picked it up, started playing with him, decided that I'd start doing majors, signed up for the BAO, signed up for Vanguard Tactics, and went 4-2 at my first tournament, so felt pretty good.
4-2 at your first tournament, then you went most recently at the Boise Cup?
Yeah, I got 6th place on 4-1. I was the 4th best Imperial player because Ben Cromwell, Scott Rumpel, and one other player, forgotten his name now, were all in front of me in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and I took 6th. And then the top 2 players, obviously. So.
No, you've done absolutely fantastic. So we thought we'd get you on, and you can give Mark an absolute pasting. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Can the Padawan beat the Jedi?
Let's see. With this list, it's highly likely.
And obviously, for your viewing pleasure, I will be commentating and probably tearing their tactics to shreds.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Days.
Yeah. I can just sit on the sideline, you know, troll them both, because I'm not playing.
The whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, we better talk about the mission we're doing.
Sure.
So first of all, we are doing
What's yours is mine.
What yours is mine. So there are 5 objectives. One goes in the center, and then you place randomly the other 4, right?
So I think this is ITC mission 4.
It is.
Right, yeah.
So it's like whole deployment. So you deploy your whole army, the other person will deploy their whole army. Now in ITC, just as a very quick recap, if you are unfamiliar with the ITC format, basically at the end of your turn, you get 1 point if you manage to kill 1 or more things. You also get another point if you manage to hold 1 or more objectives. So it doesn't matter, as long as you kill something, hold something, you get a point. And then you'll compare that to your opponent, and if you held more objectives at the end of the battle round than your opponent currently does, you get an additional bonus point, and then you also get another point if you manage to kill more units than your opponent as well in that battle round. And then finally there is a 5th bonus point, and that changes depending on the mission. In this mission, you get the bonus point if you control both the objectives that you placed on the table. Am I correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So there are 6 fixed turns, we have a timed game, and also the other thing that the ITC has are secondary missions which you get to choose from. You get to pick 3 types of secondary missions. Each secondary mission is worth 4 points, giving you a total of 12. Okay, we're going to run through what those secondaries are, and these secondaries allow you to be a little bit more tactical with your selection. So we're not using Maelstrom cards, they're kind of out, and these secondaries are a replacement because what it allows you to do is play to your army's strengths and also look at your opponents and decide which objectives are going to be most suitable, which I really like. Is kind of like a real commander style, you know, having your key objectives. And we're going to take this battle analysis to another level, and what I'm going to be doing at the end of each round, I'm going to be sending one of these guys out who's not playing, because what I want to do is find out what's going on in here and in here, so that we can really give you guys the breakdown on the tactics, the strategies, what they're sort of going through, what they're thinking, and how they're planning ahead to hopefully win this game. This was something we spoke in immense detail about at the masterclass, all about understanding what it is you need to do in order to win the game. So guys, that's the mission. Next up, we're going to go over the secondaries. So next up, we'll show you the lists, and then we'll go through the secondaries. So over to the lists. So Brian, what filth have you got today?
A lot of filth. Mainly Bobby G right here. Robert Rabute Gilliman, or the Big G,
or Optimus Prime,
Autobots assemble. So he's kind of the biggest filth behind this list. Everything else is what you'd expect from an Imperium soup list. You've got your 3 knights, 3 Gatling guns, 2 Crusaders with Ironstorm missile pods, and then a Warden that has the not Paragon Gauntlet, but a Thunderstrike Gauntlet and a Twin Icarus autocannon.
And these guys are obviously in a
super heavy detachment, yeah.
Super heavy, that's the one. And you're going to get 6 CPs for this, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And this is obviously a 2,000 point list.
It is.
And the house that you've got with your knights is
Crast.
Crast, which allows you to what?
It allows me to reroll everything in the fight phase, so 1s and 2s for the most part. And then when they start degrading, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, so on.
Which is actually really strong, isn't it? To have that complete free reroll in combat.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It has saved my bacon so many times. Let alone the fact that you're taking 12 attacks apiece. You can give one of them Knight Seneschal. Because you're not taking any of those as your warlord, you're taking Rabute as your warlord, you get the extra 3 CPs.
Okay, so you get he's in his own super heavy.
He's in his own super heavy auxiliary. So I've got 2 super heavy detachments, essentially. And then 1 battalion of Goriah Admech, and they're just basically the Rusty 17. I made them Vanguard because they like 3 shots versus 2.
Yeah. And
they can just move up the board and actually do something in close combat that no one else can do.
Cool, nice. And they obviously give you that really good stratagem. On a 4+, you deny psychic power, really strong.
Steel Mind, Iron Logic is what it's called.
Oh, nice. And then we've got Bobby G there, obviously. So let's go into why he is so good in this list. He gives you a 12-inch bubble, right? Not 6, a 12-inch bubble of what?
He gets reroll 1s to hit,
So all the knights are re-rolling ones to hit.
They're essentially all the first knight.
Yeah.
I don't even have to take that warlord trait, so I don't have to worry about it. He also gives me a +1 to advances and charges. So if I take Landstrider on my warden, for instance, now I've got +3 to advances and charges for all knights within 6 inches of it, as long as they've got Bobby G close. And then he also gives me reroll morale if I ever need it for my little guys, and is just an absolute beast in combat. His sword just swings and kills everyone.
Yeah, amazing. No, I love it. I think it's a really, really cool list. So are you going to go for any upgrades today? Are you going to make anyone's a character, a relic? What are you going to kind of do there? Because obviously you have to pay 1 CP to make a knight a warlord for each one you want to do that for, and then you can take 1 relic for 1 CP, and then you've got to pay 3 CPs to take 2 relics. So what are you thinking there then?
So currently my Knight Lance is the warden, so that makes him the main character out of that, but I'm going to make all of them a character. Generally what I do is I'm going to take Endless Fury and Ion Bulwark on my blue knight over here. He's got the blue shield. And then I'm going to take Blessed by the Sacrosands, generally on one of my other autocannon or Gatling guns.
So what does that do?
That's a warlord trait that gives it on wound rolls of 6 mortal wounds.
Nice.
So it allows me to do extra damage, especially against high shielded
Is
things.
it on any weapon or all weapons?
I choose 1 weapon,
Okay.
and it has to not be an heirloom of the house, so it can't be on Endless Fury. Otherwise, that would be nutty.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Okay, so that's going to go on the Avenger, just because you're going to get a lot more shots on there, aren't you?
Yeah. And then it gives me 1 more relic after that. Generally, I'll be taking, so potentially Paragon Gauntlet for close combat, or Sanctuary, so that he has an invulnerable in close combat, so I don't really have to worry about those jet bikes that I'm going to be running up against.
So Mark, talk us through your list.
I am debuting the Golden Boys for the first time with a little bit of help from the Astra Militarum. So in this list I've got 3 detachments. I have a battalion of Imperial Guard, which contains 3 sets of 10 standard troops, a company commander, and a Astra Militarum Primaris Psyker.
Is that the one with the feather in his cap?
It certainly is.
It looks cool, yeah.
He may have been at a Warhammer Fantasy Battle reenactment, got called into action at the last minute, so he is wearing some clothes appropriate for that era. Basically, I haven't painted up the Primaris Psyker yet, so I'll have that done for the next time I get him on channel.
No, I think this guy looks good.
Yeah.
I think he'll be man of the match.
Let's see.
So that gives you obviously a cheeky 5 CPs.
Yep.
Excellent.
I've taken Mental Fortitude and Psychic Maelstrom as his psychic powers, and he also has a No Smite.
What does that do then? Talk us through those powers very quickly.
Mental Fortitude goes off on a 4, and you cast it on a Astra Militarum unit. Basically, it makes them immune to morale.
A 4?
Goes off on a 4.
Yeah, I'd still probably fail that.
Quite possibly.
My normal roll for psychic powers is a 1 and a 2.
Yeah. The assassins and psychic powers are where 1s mostly come up for most people.
Vindicare hits 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reroll another 1.
1. Yeah.
So then Psychic Maelstrom, it has a warp charge of 7, and if you can do a mortal wound, if it goes off, you roll a d6 on a 2+, that unit suffers a mortal wound. Unless this mortal wound is neglected, you can then roll another dice on the 3 up. That enemy unit suffers another mortal wound. Continue this process, adding 1 to the dice roll required each time, so the next room roll will be 4
Okay.
+5 +6, etc.
Cool. Nice.
So there is, again, something like Death Watch with Storm Shields. If you can get it off, then it can be very useful.
Yeah, I suppose it's not bad if you've got multiple smites, because as soon as it gets to beyond 7, maybe you use that. But
Yeah,
I think smite on a 5 is probably just that little bit more reliable, because then you've got the option there. If you do roll high, then obviously you're going to do that d6. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
easy.
It's a good one to have in your armoury.
Yeah.
I think the Primaris Psyker in a Loyal 32 is only 16 points extra than Company Commander.
And for those, does he cast 2 spells a turn?
Only 1, but
Okay,
he
he
knows
knows
2, yeah, plus Smite and cast 1.
Cool.
And I think he's decent for that.
Nice, yeah. So let's go over the next attachment that we've got, these golden chaps.
So I've taken a Spearhead detachment of Custodies. I've taken 3 Calidus Grav tanks, the Forge World units. really nice models, fantastic in combat, and also wonderful for the cost.
Yeah, so why are these guys so good? So they, obviously they've got the fly keyword, which makes them excellent. They've got 2 weapons, haven't they? So talk us through those big, beautiful silver boys on the top there.
Okay, so you've got the Iliastus storm cannons. You're going to get 8 shots, so 4 shots for each cannon. The strength 8, -3, D3 damage.
Tasty.
And Custodes, these Custodes tanks, or Custodies, whichever you like to use, hit on 2s.
Nice.
And they have a 3-up save and a 5-up invulnerable.
And they've got a -2 to charge them, haven't they?
That's that.
Aura.
Yeah, that's buff. The grav rule. The repulsors get the same rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you've got the second weapon, which is the bolters. They are 6 shots, strength 6, -2, 1 damage each. So those tanks are putting out 14 shots a turn.
Yeah, so Mark, what's the range of the big cannon?
The range of the cannons are 60.
For the top gun, so
that's
those
right,
8 shots, nice. And then the bottom shots?
36.
Nice, okay, cool. That's mate, absolutely wicked. They've got such great duality. They're quick, they're fast paced, they can fly, they can, obviously, you know, because they're hitting on 2s, any modifiers, you don't really worry about it too much because you're still hitting on 3s, maybe 4s if there are any modifiers, so really, really good there. So talk us through those little 3 boys at the back.
So I've gone for the Alaris Terminators. They're very expensive, so I've only got 3 of them, 1 unit. It allows me to deep strike, obviously. They're good at shooting within 12, and they're fantastic in combat, so they hit at strength 8. It also allows me to utilise the stratagem to bring them down within 6 of the Vexilla, away 3 inches away from an enemy model.
Yeah, nice.
So basically, if you've got somebody in your back line and you can deep strike them into near the Vexilla if he's there, and then you're pretty much guaranteed a charge.
So let's go on to the Vexilla next. Character, he's an elite choice. And you've gone for the banner that gives you a -1 to hit aura.
That's right.
So units within 6, right?
That's correct. So Custodes, units within 6.
So any unit, so that just means a touch of that model, as long as a smidge of the model is within his 6 aura, 6-inch aura, is going to get that -1 to hit. Cool.
Yeah.
And then we've also got 5 Custodies jet bikes.
6.
6. Sorry, I can't count.
2 sets of 3.
Okay, cool.
2 units of 3 jet bikes.
Yeah, nice.
And then to cap it off, we've got General Trajan Valoris.
And he gives you reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound.
Yep.
Is he your warlord today?
No, he's not. The Warlord is the Guardsman, the company commander.
Okay.
So I'm taking Grand Strategist and Kurosa Quilla.
Okay, so he'll be regenerating on 5s when you spend them, and when your opponent spend them, 5s as well. Excellent, and that obviously gets you a free reroll once per game anyway, which is good. Normally for, I think it's a hit, a wound, a save roll, which is cool. And then obviously you're going to pay 1 CP because you're going to pay the auxiliary detachment for the Eversaw, because you know that's the one you want to go with. But today you've never used him before, have you?
No, never used him before, so I'm going to see how he goes out today. I've played Assassins in the past 5 or 6 games. Is the only one I haven't used, and I've had mixed success with them so far, let's say.
And this is the thing, guys, if you have because Mark is only taking 2 detachments, it's much more efficient to spend 1 CP and put the Eversaw in a auxiliary detachment than it is but you just have to commit to that assassin that you pick in that detachment. Whereas obviously if you pay the 2 CPs, he can fit in within the reinforcement points, and then obviously when you get to the table you can pick and choose which one you want. So it's pros and cons. I think it saves you a CP if you know this is the assassin that you like, and you've got that detachment free anyway, so it's always a good choice.
Yeah, if you go to a tournament, my suggestion would be pay the extra CP so that you can bring whichever of the assassins in that you like before the game, depending on what your opponent's got.
Well, Mark, looks good, mate, so let's see what you can do against these big knights.
Let's do it.
So guys, you've seen the lists, and if you want to get your chance to have a look at what they are, then what you can do is head over to our website and sign up for our newsletter, www.vanguardtactics.com. and all you need to do is pop your email address in there and we'll send you over all of that details and all the links that you need. Okay, so Mark, your secondaries, do you know what they are?
I sure do. I am going for Kingslayer.
So Kingslayer basically means, I assume you're picking a monster, a vehicle or a monster?
One of those, the 3 knights, yeah.
One of the 3 knights, okay, and which one have you picked?
The Warden.
The Warden, okay, cool. And basically what this secondary means is for every 4 wounds that you do to that knight, because he is a character, he can be elected to be a Kingslayer. For every 4 points you do to him, you're going to get one of those points for your secondary. So once you've basically achieved 16 wounds, then you completely max that one out. So it's quite good. What's another one you're going to be going for?
Titan Slayer.
Titan Slayer. So this is for every 8 wounds you do to a Titanic vehicle. So you've basically got how many lots of 18 wounds on the table?
I've got 48 wounds.
A fair few. So for every 8 of those that come off, then yeah, you're going to get another point, which is cool. And then finally your third,
behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines, and basically this is if you have one of your units in your opponent's deployment zone at the start of your turn. So that does give a little tactical advantage for Brian to try and deny you that.
Sure does.
Okay, cool, I like it. So what can you give me, a brief, why have you gone for those secondaries?
Looking at Brian's list, his army, I need to deal with those 3 knights. If I don't, he probably tables me and I'm in big trouble. So if I put secondary objectives on the things that I have to deal with to try and win the game, it makes total sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Those knights have got to go.
Yeah.
So you may as well, they're the biggest threat to you, okay? And you can't really, dodge around them and things, so yeah, you've got to get rid of them, and you may as well score points for it while you're doing it. And behind the enemy lines, because we have got enclosed ruins, maybe you can sneak an assassin in there, you can deep strike your bike, you've got some options to able to facilitate that for you. And also, Brian, if he comes steaming at you, he might leave his backfield unprotected perhaps. We don't know how he's going to play. It's a bit dodgy, this one. So, Brian, what secondaries have you gone for?
Chosen Gangbusters.
Gangbusters. So that is basically for every
6 wounds.
Every 6 wounds done on a multiple wound.
Yeah, 3 wounds or more, multiple model unit.
There we go. It was a bit of a mouthful, guys. So which ones are you going to get Gangbusters on?
I'm going to be getting Gangbusters on the jet bikes.
Okay, and that works out perfectly, right? Because each unit of jet bikes, you've got 3, there's 12 wounds there per squad of jet bikes, there's 24, so we divide that by 6, that gives us your 4 secondary points. Cool, nice.
And then I'm taking Marked for Death.
Marked for Death.
Marked for Death, yeah.
Good.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's one of my many jokes. I'll write it down later. Anyway, and what are you marking for death?
I'm going to be marking for death the 3 Cladius Grav tanks.
Why do you want to kill them?
Those lovely fluffy things. They'll do, tickle you is all they'll do. Yeah.
They happen to have 24 strength 8, AP -3, D3 damage shots, hitting on 2s, wounding on 4s with rerolls. They kind of need to get off the table.
You get a 4 up in men, what's your problem?
I've got a 4 up in vulnerable on 2 knights.
I don't know what you're worried about. And what is your 3rd secondary you're going to go for?
My 3rd secondary is going to be ground control.
Ground control. So at the end game, any objectives you're currently stood on, which obviously you're hoping to be stood on, then you score a point. So let's hope you've still got something at the end.
Yeah.
If those boys in gold don't give you a good smash in. Obviously the other thing you're going to mark for death is those Terminators, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Guys, so that's the list, the secondaries, the mission. You know what's about to happen. So let's go over to the deployment now, and we'll see who gets that ever important roll-off. Who's going to be going first? Guys, shake hands.
Best of luck.
No spitting, biting, anything like that. Okay, let's keep it friendly, guys, and let's have a really good game, guys. So I'll see you for the commentary. Let's go. Well done, guys. Good little intro, that. Good and friendly and fun. What have we got there? We've got Team England versus Team USA. Now these are 2 dice that I was very fortunate to pick up at the last ETC event.
By pick up, you mean stolen, don't you?
No, you swap them.
Okay.
You know?
Right, okay.
You know, swap them. I mean, maybe I didn't give them anything. But, you know, I swapped it into my pocket perhaps. But
you give them a good game, perhaps.
Yeah. So obviously, recently after the Independence Day, let's see who champs, eh? Is it going to be Team England or is it going to be Team USA? So Brian obviously has got the
English dice, yeah.
English dice. Here we go, guys. So this is the roll-off for. Hang on, whoa, don't.
Okay.
Give it a good shake, Mark.
Yeah,
Warm him up.
I have.
Warm him up. This is a roll-off.
I've blessed
for
it. Okay.
Picking sides. So we'll roll for deployment after this. We're going to pick sides, and then what's going to happen is that the person that doesn't pick the side gets to choose if they want to set up first and go first, or force their opponent to set up first and go first. Here we go, guys. The ever important roll-off. Oh, Mark.
Okay.
Did you want to win that roll-off?
I did, yes.
Okay, cool. So what side would you like?
Oh,
Hammer, what map is it first?
It is Hammer and Anvil.
It's Hammer and Anvil. Okay, cool. Nice.
So I want to go first.
Okay, well you don't get to pick that, you get to pick the side.
Oh, right, okay.
So you've lost the roll-off, actually.
Oh, right.
What? Please don't swear.
Okay.
Because you already won that, I get to choose the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so tell them that you want that side.
So Mark, what side are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick this. Can the camera see this? This side?
Okay, you want that side. So let me zoom out and show the guys what side you want. You want that side over there, where the clock is. Okay, nice. And why have you gone for that?
It's got some nice cover over there. We're utilising that as a magic box.
Or enclosed ruins.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, guys, on this table, everything, all the Sector Mechanicus table, everything that has a bottom level will basically block line of sight. So we've got some good terrain here today. Nice, so you're going to go on that far end.
Yep.
That means, Brian, you're going to be over here on this side deploying. Brian, bro, what do you want?
I'm going to go first.
You're going to go first. So you're going to set up first?
Yeah, I'm going to set up first and go first.
Right then, over to the time. We've got an hour and a half each. Let's do this. Set up first, bro. So this is Brian's deployment, and it obviously doesn't have too many models, so this should be a fairly quick deployment phase. And as you can see there, he's basically placed all 3 knights right on the front of his deployment there, with Bobby G just supporting them. He's also got an engine sear in between them, which is a good use of tactic, which means if Mark does seize, the knights are still going to be the closest enemy model. And then what he's doing is making the most out of that enclosed ruin and just placing all of those basically Graya Admech in that enclosed ruin so they can't be shot, and then obviously you can move them out turn 1. Nice little bit of adjustment there, just making sure that obviously the characters aren't the closest and right on that edge. So now over to Mark's deployment. And unfortunately the camera angle is just slightly cut off in the corner, but essentially Mark has obviously placed those 3 Custodies grav tanks in that corner behind the biggest line of sight blocking piece of terrain that there is on his table edge. And now the other thing that he has placed behind there is his Trajan Valorous, and also the guy with the banner to give everything -1 to hit. He's then making use of obviously the line of sight blocking terrain there, putting it behind those craters with 1 unit and I think a commander, just checking together there about the line of sight blocking terrain, and then placing his Custodies jet bikes behind there. Personally, I think that is a mistake, but we'll see at this stage if those Custodies should be on the board. So give us a quick chat through your deployment.
So essentially I've deployed all of my knights up at the front.
Yep.
I'm trying to get my warden here in the middle up into close combat. I need to get those Custodies grav tanks off the table, so I'm just going to push up as fast as I can, use Gilliman to keep my reroll bubble and just kind of press the board. Back here underneath this enclosed ruin, I've got 3 squads of vanguards, so I can hold this objective right here, and then a tech priest to kind of give them a little bit of protection, but also I don't need to move it up the board. I have 1 tech priest that's going to be walking with my knights in case I need to do some healing and Knight of the Cog, and a couple different stratagems.
Cool, nice man. So let's have a quick look at Mark's deployment. Mark. Ooh, it's the car park.
Indeed. So I've put my grav tanks the furthest possible distance away I could from the knights after they've been deployed, to try and keep at a range where possible. I've got guard on 2 objectives and ready to take a third. I've also got a squad of bikes. Obviously, as we stated here, this is a line of sight blocking piece of terrain, so unless Brian can get around it or see over the top of it, he can't currently see the bikes.
Excellent. And you've got, where's your other bikes?
So I've paid 1 CP to put them in deep strike. The Terminators are currently chilling out
In deep strike?
in the teleportarium.
So how many CPs you left with, Mark?
7.
7, because you played, you started with 9, is that right? You played 1 for...
The assassin for -1. So I started with 9, -1 for the assassin,
Okay.
which gave me 8, and then I have to put 1 CP for the bikes to go in deep strike, so that gives me 7.
And you're paying 1 for the other thing you were going to do?
It's 2 CP for Victor of the Blood games.
Oh, 2, okay.
So yes, I'm going to pay that because it's the first. I've never used it before, so let's try it out and let's see how it goes.
Cool. So you're down to
5.
5 CPs, start the game. Nice. Brian, how many CPs you got?
I've got 11. I paid 6 to give my knights extra relics and things. So my warden, like I said, has sanctuary. I've got blessed by the sacrosands on this knight, and then I've got endless fury and iron bulwark on this knight. So I've got an invulnerable and a couple extra special Gatling guns.
Nice. And guys, if you're wondering what this stuff is, this is to help our audio quality. So hopefully this is coming to you crystal clear. So Mark, you wanted to go first, but you're going second. So we've got to do.
Seize.
Are you going to seize?
We'll see.
Brian, do you think he's going to seize?
No.
Oh mate, you haven't seen Mark roll. I have. Guys at home, be prepared for something special.
That was the other side of special.
So Mark, you're not going first.
Nope.
You didn't seize. Brian, you excited to go first?
Absolutely.
Right guys. Brian, over to your turn 1.
Sweet.
I've sent Mark away. I want you, it's just me and you now, and the camera and the guys at home. Tell us what you're going to be trying to achieve this turn. So I want to know what you want to try and kill, what you want to try and hold, and then are there any threats to your current play style? What are you trying to achieve this turn essentially, or this battle round?
So this battle round, I'm going to try and use my indirect missiles to take maybe one squad of guard off an objective.
Which one?
I'm going to go for his backfield objective.
The backfield.
Yeah.
Which one's that? Just point to it.
It's going to be right over here.
Okay, cool. Behind those crates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I'm going to try and hold my 2 objectives in my deployment zone, so 5 and 1. And then I'm going to try and get 1 knight onto 3, which is up here in the middle of the board, which should be easy.
So that'll get you the hold more, right? And I suppose you're trying to develop that early lead with that hold more.
Yeah. I'm going to try and hold more, and then the next turn be on my objective 2 over here. So we're going to slowly push up to that objective 2 so I can get the bonus point.
Yeah. And cool. Yeah.
The biggest threat that I see is his Gladius grav tanks. I don't really have any great shots on them because of how far back they are, and they've got really good saves against my battle cannons. But I'll take a couple pot shots on. I'll try and priority target down one of them, and I'm going to try and get my Gatling cannons, at least one of my knights, in range of his bikes over here, so I can kind of get some more shots.
Yeah, I think this actually might be a little bit of a mistake on Mark's part. If you start to shift around here, you can start to get some angle there, can't you?
Yeah.
So basically, if we bring that knight from here round, you can start to get some line of sight over, and with that extra movement, can you get 2? Who knows? Because if you can get, that's big, isn't it? So I think you've identified that well. There's a bit of a weakness there in Mark's deployment. So nice.
Yeah.
let's see what you can do then. If you can get a hold more, that's big. And if you can just try and get, I suppose, 1 kill, you'd be happy with, right?
Yeah, 1 kill, because my knights are usually pretty hard to take down. Even on this first turn, I'll probably be giving one of them cover.
Yeah, love it.
So that makes his bolters less good.
Okay, cool. All right, mate. Well, over to you then for this first battle round. So as we head into Brian's first turn, he's just moving that knight to basically draw a line of sight to those bikes, which is a really, really good move. That second knight he's just moved won't be able to, and that third one maybe, I'm not sure. So we'll see later on if he is able to see them. I don't think he's going to struggle from that position. Getting 2 knights on that squad would be absolutely excellent, but he probably will be able to see some of those Cladius. Oh, I think he's realised that he can't see them and just remove them. Gulliman obviously given that 12-inch range, so he's just pre-measuring to ensure that those knights are within 12 inches of Bobby G there, and double checking. I don't think he moves the Joel yet, he's just checking line of sight from that point onwards, so that's really, really good play there. So they're all the knights within 12 of Bobby G to get that reroll ones, and he's obviously now just making sure that he's removing that knight to get within 3 of that middle objective, forcing Mark to sort of come forward. So as the shots come off, he's obviously used his indirect fire missiles to shoot at that squad behind the craters. Looking at line of sight there, and now firing what I think is his knight to, yeah, that's it, taking off a couple of those Custodies jet bikes. So really, really good play there. I don't think he guarantees himself a kill at this point unless those guardsmen fail morale check. You didn't go first?
Unfortunately not.
How did you feel about that?
This is a tough matchup for me. I needed a non-Dawn of War deployment, and then to go first to get a really good chance of trying to get rid of a knight. I got a non-Dawn of War deployment in Hammer Anvil, which is great, but I went second. I've lost a couple of bikes, and he's done a little bit of damage to a tank, so those tanks are still fully functioning. So hopefully now, at this point, I can try and get stuck into a knight, take some wounds off. It'd be fantastic if I could take one out in this turn and try and reduce the threat.
So which one are you going to try and kill then?
The threat at the minute is because these guys are going to move up in range, they'll be in full range soon. So I'm going to look at probably trying to take out the one with the most lethal ranged weapons.
Okay. Yeah. So which one are you going to probably try and go for?
This guy here.
Yeah.
This is the.
This one here for the camera.
Yeah.
Because also you're probably going to be in range of your 36 from these guys, right? So if you try and go for that one in the corner, you might not get the smaller arms firing, which can still wound on 5s, -2, 1 damage. You'll probably rotate iron shields, but there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah. So at this point in the game, obviously, how many units did you lose that turn?
None.
Oh, cool. So you actually didn't get a kill.
Yeah.
That's really good that you denied a first kill.
Yeah.
So that means, I think, looking at what you're going to try and hold this turn.
I'm holding an objective with the guardsman over this end, and I'm holding objective here as well.
Okay.
So I'm currently holding 2 objectives.
You're not going to be able to get 3 though, right?
No, I'm going to struggle to get 3.
Well, I mean, okay. Could maybe try, but it'd be an expense, wouldn't it, to get it perhaps. But then if you do get that early lead, then now we're talking some, really good, because obviously like your options are, these guardsmen maybe, could always move, because he's not objective secured and you are, so maybe you give away a unit of, guardsmen in your next turn, but if you do get that objective and you do kill something, you'll be up 4 points, which is massive. So, I don't know, Mark, what do you think?
It could be worth a gamble for sure.
Yeah, so how else are you going to manage these threats? So if you try and kill one, how are you going to manage the others?
I've got some guardsmen to be able to try and move block. I've also got bikes that come down and terminators that come down that can do the same thing.
In next turn, mate.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Mark. Best of luck. Be looking forward to see what you can do, mate.
Okay, super.
So this was a reasonably quick turn for Mark, and basically what he's just doing there is just doing some quick pre-measuring before he starts to move anything, measuring out the ranges of his Cladius to those knights to see if he actually needs to move them, and then moving and moving with the advance roll of those guys to get inside that enclosed ruin, and they are over an inch away from the edge, so they're unable to be charged. Mark just moving those Cladius round the side to prevent as much line of sight as possible from the knights, and obviously then just having line of sight to that knight that is out in the open, that taking revenge on those the knight that killed his bikes. So really good play from Mark to deny that first kill. So now he's going to get the hold and the hold more this turn, which is absolutely fantastic because those troops are going to be objective secured over the knight. Just taking some shots at the knight and obviously doing some wounds, but I don't think it was quite enough to kill him, but we'll see. It's a good start. So guys, end of battle round 1.
Indeed.
Ineffective. That's how I would definitely summarize what I did.
Yeah. So what was your initial plan, Brian? You said you wanted to kill something. Just a unit guardsman with your anti non-line of sight needing. How did that go? How many did you end up killing in the end?
I ended up killing, was it 6? So I got 4 and then 2 more in morale, so 6 of them. So I've almost killed that squad.
Okay.
But that was a little less effective than I anticipated. I also wanted to kill the jet bikes, and I got all but 2 wounds off of them.
Oh,
So pretty close. That was a gut punch.
Mark, how do you feel about those jet bikes getting shot?
I made a mistake. So when we set up, we said that that piece of terrain was line of sight blocking, and basically if I'd have moved the jet bikes an inch further forward or further round to this way, I probably would have been able to save them. Although that said, though, this knight that's here, that's closest to us at the minute, basically that might have gone a bit further this way, so it might have been that they could have seen the edge of him. So I really struggled to place those, and I didn't want to spend even more CP to put them in deep strike and spend 3 CP for them to put in deep strike. But probably it probably would. Would you pay 2 extra CP to keep your bikes alive? Yes, you would.
Yes.
So in hindsight, probably not the best move.
Seeming though they normally charge you 1 CP to do D3 mortal wounds on something.
Yeah.
I think it's well worth it in this matchup, especially knowing you were going second.
Yeah, sure.
So okay, cool. So at the end of that, then your turn. Go back to you, Brian. You didn't get a kill, but you did get a hold. We spoke about you trying to get a hold more, didn't we?
So I did get onto that objective, so I had 3 objectives going, but Mark was able to move his guardsman right into that center objective and take it from me. So there wasn't too much I could do about it. I'm just going to have to either pressure them or try and take my bonus objective this turn. And so I think I'm going to get the advance and charge over here.
Okay, cool, nice. Perfect, love it.
So Brian's now tightening his grip on the board, getting control of it, being horrible with these knights in Gilliman. It's obviously going to take a little while with this deployment for him to move up the board towards me, but his grip is tightening now, so this could be a dangerous turn for me.
And you got a couple of your gangbuster points?
Yeah, I got 1 gangbuster point. I'm 2 wounds away from my second, and then once his other bikes drop down, I'll probably be able to finish that off. Okay,
so you're on 2 points. Mark, you got the no kills?
Nope.
Didn't manage to do that, but you did get some points on a Titan Slayer. Yep. Okay, so you got 2 points for that because you shot the knight, I think closest to me, right? That we spoke about.
Yep.
So using those Cladiuses, moving around, that was really nice manoeuvre. Again, keeping them out of line of sight, which is really good. Nice, Mark. So then you also got the hold and the hold more. So that takes you on a total of 2 for the Titan Slayer, 4.
Yeah.
And the hold more. Yeah, perfect. So at the moment, 2 to 4. Brian, it's your next turn.
Everything to play for.
Everything to play.
Here comes the doom.
Right. So excellent play there from Mark to get that early lead with that hold and hold more. Unfortunately, neither side managed to get that kill, but Mark spending those CPs in order to deny Brian from getting that kill was absolutely massive, because that would have been a 2-point swing. As I always say, guys, you want to swap your CPs for VPs. So with that early lead from Mark, it's all to play for, and let's just see now if Mark can deny that gangbusters with that Custodies jet bike hidden and try to finish off that Titan, securing him another 2 points as we go into battle round 2. Let's see what Brian can do. He's slightly behind, but I can imagine this is going to be a pretty big turn with what's coming up next. Battle round 2, talk us through what you're going to do. What is your objective for this turn?
So my objective for this turn is to cover this bonus objective over here.
Hang on a second, let me show the guys where that is. Okay, cool. How are you going to do that?
I'm going to take this knight up here, allow it to shoot at the grav tank over there and charge into the guardsman underneath.
Are they within an inch of that ruins?
They are. It is a very narrow ruins, and there's pretty much no way you can get outside of it.
Okay, now guys, this is a really good tactic, by the way. So, just to quickly describe this for you, if you have a... Let's go a little bit closer. If the model is within an inch of the edge of the ruin, you can charge the ruin and you're still within an inch of the model. If, however, let's say, and same for here, so this guy is within an inch of the center, because these guys are on the bottom floor, I assume, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's say this guy, though, is here, or there's a better example. Let's say he's right here. The knight, and on the bottom floor, let's put him right under there so we can show this better. If a knight wanted to, where is he? There he is. If a knight wanted to charge here, he could only go to that point. He'd still be over an inch. So, guys, if you are using terrain, try and always be an inch away from the ruin, and that prevents you being charged. So he's left himself open there, hasn't he?
Well, for these guys we decided we're outside of an inch because of the wider base. So yeah, this is going to be my primary objective, is trying to take number 2. That'll allow me to get bonus. Hopefully it allows me to also get hold more, because once this squad is cleared off, all he has is this last squad back here. I'll be putting a couple more indirect shots into them to try and clear them out, and eventually I'll get the commander.
So that should be 2 easy kills for you then, really.
Hopefully.
To get you that kill more.
Hopefully. And I'm also obviously putting my knight at full.
For 1 CP?
For 1 CP, I'll probably advance out a squad of guys just to hold this objective, and allow this guy to kind of move up with that knight and heal him up to try and make it a little harder for it to go down.
Yep. So you're gonna try and kill 2 units. Anything damage-wise over here you're gonna put in?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and put all of my knights onto that front grav tank.
Okay.
Try and finish it off, and just pressure the board so that when his deep strike happens, I can kind of focus it here, and I'm okay to lose the units back here to his Eversor or his Terminators or whatever, and give up this one as long as I can hold his other objective so he can't never bonus against me.
Cool, love it, mate. No, so hopefully killing 3 then, maybe controlling 3, and he probably won't be able to kill 3 of you.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Anyway, let's see how it goes, mate.
Okay.
It's all to play for. So as we head now into Brian's second turn, he's just moving his first knight forward, that injured one, into the centre of the field, then advancing his units of AdMech to hold that middle objective in his deployment zone, moving up his second and third knight so that they can get a very easy charge onto that squad that is holding Mark's objective in Mark's deployment zone, so he'll easily be able to make that charge and then also control that. Now, because that means Brian will be controlling and holding the 2 objectives that he placed on the board, he will be getting that bonus point. He also screens out the backfield as he suggested and heals that knight back up a couple of wounds, which he does with some good success. So now it is a case of opening up fire with all of the weaponry that he has at that front. Caladius grav tank. He's also going to put some indirect fire onto those guardsmen, which you can see now being removed off the table, and these more shots now going in at that first Caladius grav tanks. Now this is where it might start to go wrong for Mark a little bit. Losing these grav tanks is going to be absolutely monumentous for him, and he's then going to really struggle, I think, to kill these knights. But Mark does have an early lead, and one of those knights is already down a few brackets with only, I think, about 7 wounds remaining. So if he can clear off that knight with ease, he's obviously got his Terminators to deep strike, he's got the bikes to come in, then he could do some damage. Now there was an explosion there when that Caladius grav tank did go, and that has obviously passed some mortal wounds onto some other units, which is obviously a bit devastating, but that is the problem when you have a bit of a car park and so many things. Oh, and he's just lost another one, that back one there also being shot off the table. Now the knights make the charge into the guardsmen, and as we can see, they're gone. Right, Mark?
Okay, so we've just had Brian's turn 2, and I have lost 2 grav tanks. I've had the worst spell of dice rolling ever, but it was always going to happen. So like that, there's no excuses. It's not because of the dice. When you're facing 3 knights and they get in range of you and they roll okay, then that was going to happen.
So you used a CP reroll to try and keep one alive.
Yeah.
Used a Grand Strategist.
Yeah.
And you used a
Victory of the Blood Games.
And you failed them all.
I did. Yeah.
And then you blew up.
I did. So I had no way to try and re-roll that 6 to explode. So, but I managed to roll real well against my own troops.
I think that's a lesson there for everyone, is that if you're using vehicles in a car park scenario where you've got, you know, so many other valuable units next to it, you just have to go, do you know what, I'm going to take it on the chin, I'm not going to spend my CP reroll, because blowing up and doing D6 mortal wounds or whatever it is, D3 mortal wounds, D6 mortal wounds, saving that is huge, and that is so much more powerful that rather than just going, I'll CP reroll this save. Statistically the thing should die anyway, like you said, a knight's shooting at you.
So that was definitely a mistake. That's a lesson learned there.
For everyone, I think. You know?
So basically I won't make that mistake again. Also what's happened is I've done 3 mortal wounds on a bike, which has got 2 wounds left. That's killed the unit, so it's given him a kill. It's also given him a point for gangbusters as well. And I basically ran off and hid that bike so I could try and make sure he didn't get another point. So I've made a mistake there, but I'll learn from it and then I won't make it again. So now what am I going to do in this turn? This is really tough now, I've really got to fight. So if we look at the table, what we're going to do is that tank there is going to fire into this knight here. He's got 7 wounds left. And I'll see if I can take him down. Because I'm in range of everything, I'm going to start to move the tank up now. I'm going to put Trajan and the Vexilla behind it. So let's utilise Trajan to try and get into combat if we possibly can. Maybe a nuisance, because that tank will go next turn for sure. I'm going to bring my Terminators in. I've got a cunning plan here. So basically I'm going to bring my Terminators down in 9 inches away from this knight and in cover in this what we've declared as a magic box here. So it's line of sight blocking. I can charge him without taking Overwatch. It's a free charge then, 9 inches. I stay within here. The knight can't come in, he can't shoot me at any point, but he can charge me. But I want to be in combat, so I'll see if I can wear that. I'm probably going to bring the bikes down here in this same area because I need to try and have an effect on these knights now. These 2 here, if I can clear that one off in this turn, or bring the other guys around to try and attack it and finish it off, start to make life hard work for these, and then what I'm going to do is the Eversaw is going to come down here and start to deal with these guys, try and get some kills, try and set up some kill them and sit on an objective.
So you're currently on 2 objectives, right? You've got the centre and
one
the end.
here and one there, yeah.
So if you manage to clear, let's say the Eversaw off on number 1, over here, where those guys are there, if the Eversaw comes in there, clears them off, he controls that, then all of a sudden you're going to get a hold more. Or maybe you get number 5, kill that lone character, consolidate onto that objective, depending if those guys are within 3 inches or not, who knows. But you need to get that hold more because you're not going to get the kill more this turn. And I think you're right with the bikes. If those Terminators make that charge, the bikes can just sit in front, shoot as well. And if the Terminators do make their charge, they can go in as well. Hopefully you roll hot. You do some good dice, so it might balance out for you this turn, mate.
Yeah, sure. I think that the option here, this is like a critical point in the game for me, is the option is bring the bikes down here. They've got a lot of shots and they will kill these Admech guys fairly easily with hurricane bolters, or bring them down and try and do damage to the knights. The bad news is the knights have got the opportunity to be able to deal with those bikes fairly easily if they're left out. I don't really want to sacrifice them, but the alternative is I lose my grav tank over there, and then the knights basically sat here going to shoot at the bikes that are up here anyway, out of the way. So I might as well try and do the worst I possibly can to these 2 knights and deal with them here. So let's see what we can do. My back's against the wall. Let's see if we can pull off a good turn.
See what you've done there, back against the wall?
It certainly is, yeah.
So as we head into Mark's second turn, what do you think of his plan? Is it the right one? Should he bring and put the pressure on the knights with his Terminators and his jet bikes, or should he have brought them down in his opponent's deployment zone and really tackled those Admech guys? Maybe if he was fortunate, maybe getting a wrapping trap. But anyway, he moves that Custodies forward, and again, I'm not sure if that was the best idea. Probably if it was myself, I'd have just kept him back behind, out of that line of sight, and also getting a cover save as well, which might have been the smarter option. He only has a few wounds left, but you know, if Brian rolls badly, then maybe that Custodies survives for another turn. Anyway, he does bring down the knights and the Terminators, and he does remove that knight with the Custodies' shooting, which is extremely efficient. He's also brought down the Efesor near that middle objective, and to hopefully get that charge off onto those Admech guys. So with a few shots left from the Eversaw and things on that unit, nothing's really happened as such. But then the charge is made with the Terminators. This is the big one. He uses a reroll and makes that charge. Unfortunately, the bikes do not make the charge, which is a little bit devastating there, and a bit unfortunate that they didn't make it, because really the Terminator are not enough to kill a knight. He needs the bikes in as well to really try and cripple that knight. But we'll see if it's enough to keep him at bay. The Eversaw goes in as well and also starts to mop up, but doesn't quite kill that last Admech guy, which is a little bit unfortunate there for Mark, as he could have potentially got a kill more. Right guys, end of round 2. How's it looking?
America's coming back.
Yes.
You're letting England down.
Thanks, mate. I'm doing my damnedest here. I'm not dead yet for long though.
So Brian, let's talk about your turn. What did you do?
So I moved my knights up. I got the objective like I was looking for. Took the squad out from here. Finished off the
Custodies. Oh no.
Yeah, finished. I got 2 of the Custodies on a really lucky explosion off of one of them that took down a jet bike. Scored me a bunch of my secondaries. And then I pressed out the backfield to try and force his hand to either have to do a long strike over there and potentially give up a lot of his kill potential there, because I had gotten such a big turn, and then I just kind of pressed up the board, killed the Custodies, killed the jet bike, killed a squad of dudes. Nearly nuked the entire thing over here, but there's one guy just standing on the objective. He's like, I got this, because he's weathered all of the missiles. And that's pretty much what I did. And then I kept that one guy there with the Eversaw, who's probably going to die this turn, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you spent 2 CPs to pass your morale there, right?
Yep.
Just so that basically... Does that stop Mark getting the bonus point then?
It stopped him... No, he needs to get to objective 5 to get the bonus point. Okay. But it means that I'm going to still get the bonus point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I can hold it for this turn.
Nice. Mark?
So obviously I'd lost 2 tanks in Brian's turn. What was good was that I managed to take off one of the knights, give me another Titan Slayer point, and obviously has removed one of the 3 huge threats I've got in front of me. I brought the Terminators down. This was a canny little trick. I brought them down into
So you
building.
Yeah. You made your charge, didn't you?
Yeah, so I brought them down into the building, 9 inches away. I was able to charge without taking any overwatch, and then I've charged inside the buildings, but I'm still within 1 inch of the knight. So I've attacked him, he's attacked me, and then basically the knight can't come into the building, so I can't be shot with all the power of these 2 knights this next turn. So that was good. What has been non-optimal is I brought the bikes down. I believed that utilising fly I could go over the building, but it was clarified that I couldn't. So I didn't want to make any changes to it. I wouldn't say, well, I wouldn't have done that because I've made the mistake. I'm going to own it and I'm going to live with it. So they didn't shoot because I tried to hide them for no overwatch charge. I was hoping for a 9-inch charge, but it ended up being an 11-inch charge. I was nowhere near. So unfortunately, they're sat like sitting ducks now. And obviously my choice was to bring them down here to attack the knights, or to bring them over there and destroy some of these units holding objectives. And I went for the knights. I'm not certain that was the greatest choice, but worst decision is no decision. Do it, learn from it, and see what would have been better next time. So I'm still right up against it. Still 2 fully functioning knights, still Gilliman here. I'm going to have to fight very hard to stay in the game.
Yeah, I think in the position you're in, what would have been interesting is if the Terminators are never going to kill a knight in combat, right? You're probably going to lose as many wounds as you dish out against a knight in combat. With the support of those bikes coming in contact, I think if it was me in your turn, seeing how your first turn went, would have just been to go, right, everything on that knight. I need to make sure I'm saving some re-rolls for charges. They both need to be within 9. I need to pray that I get 2 9-inch charges, and maybe you bracket that knight, maybe it doesn't hit you back as hard, and really sort of force that. Or you just completely abandon killing the knights completely, and you focus on, playing the mission. So focusing on your secondaries, line breaker, focusing on controlling, those objectives that are on Brian's board edge, and just kind of hiding from the knights basically.
Yeah, sure.
And just seeing how many points you probably lose that game still, but just trying to score as many points as you can in a tournament environment, so you don't drop too low from a loss. You can still maybe battle it out, because it is that game that you lose that potentially, if you don't score enough points in it, can affect it. So I don't know, we'll see what can happen. It was really good you killing that knight. That was really nice. So that's giving you a bit more of a win back. If those bikes and those Terminators can survive, then you could still be in with it and see what this Eversaw can do by himself. He's just going to have to roll pretty hot. Yeah. But it's possible with him. So
Gilliman's coming.
Gilliman can just stay there. Yeah.
He's not going to take the middle, don't worry.
Right, Brian, over to you.
Okay.
So that was a huge second turn for Brian, scoring a massive 7 points, getting the kill more, the hold, the bonus point, 1 more gangbusters and 2 marked for death. Mark getting and really securing that 3rd Titan Slayer point and killing that knight, which was absolutely superb play, but unfortunately not doing enough to get the kill more. He was always going to be up against it because I think he lost about 4 or 5 units, but really good play to continue to get that hold more, which is another crucial point. So I want to know what you guys would have done. Pop it in the comments section below and we can have a good discussion around what might have been potentially a better play there. Slight mistake there with the terrain, but these things happen as edition changes, and it'll be interesting to see what those bikes can do next, and if they can take down another Night Titan. So what's your focus this 3rd round then, Ryan?
I'm going to try and finish off that Calladius Grav tank, finish my gangbusters on these guys, and try and kill these Terminators.
How are you going to do that?
My knights are basically going to stay in this area. This knight's probably going to move around to get angles on the jet bikes. This knight's going to just kind of focus up so you can see that Custodies, and then they're both going to be within a 3 or so inch charge, so I can just force it. So that's what I'm planning on doing. On this side of the board, I'll probably take some indirect shots, or maybe some stubber shots if I can on that guy, to try and just take him off that objective. On this backfield, now that I've stopped him from tying me for kill more, I'm probably just going to back this guy out. He's going to take all the shots and die. That'll give me 15 shots into him from this backfield, plus my Gilliman shots. So either I kill him there, or I'm going to kill him in the charge with the Gilliman. I'm probably going to get this guy stuck in with these infantry and just try and start clearing him, because he's got a 3-up save, can kill 1 or 2 guys a turn, it should be fine. And then from there, I just have to kind of deal with what's in the back over there, and hopefully I can wrap this game up from there.
Cool, nice. Brian, round, or turn 3 should I say, just moving up those AdMech infantry forward, bringing Bobby G back round to face off against the assassin, and putting one of those engine seers on the middle objective there. So he's fallen back, that last remaining guy that the Eversaw didn't kill. He's still within 3 of that objective, and then he is also making some shots from Bobby G at the assassin. From this point as well, he's also moved the knights forward, or out of combat should I say, and then moved them to get some good firing lines on those Custody jet bikes. So the first thing that he does, he opens up and removes 2 of those Custody jet bikes with one of his knights, and then starts to put more shots over on the Custodies. And obviously the most tactical thing to do at this point is putting the Avenger Gattlers onto the bikes, as they're only toughness 6, so it means he's wounding on 4s, and then putting the battle cannons onto the Custodies, as he'll be wounding on 3s, rather than putting the Avengers, the Gattlers, onto the Custodies, because you'd be wounding on 5. So really making sure that some split firing is the right thing to do at that point to really maximise your rolls, and then clearing off the rest of the Terminators in combat with the Knights from a charge, and then big old Bobby G going into the assassin and taking him off in combat. So another really, really good turn here from Brian, and Mark is certainly up against it from this point forward. So Mark, your turn 3, what are you going to do this turn?
So, I have not got a lot of models left, not a lot of units on the board, so I've not got many options.
So you lost a couple of bikes, lost the Terminators,
that's
and
right,
you
yeah.
lost your Gravis tank. And Gulliman coming chopped off the Eversaw's head.
He certainly did. The Eversaw exploded and did 1 mortal wound for Gulliman.
Wow.
So it's just down to the 8 now. Yeah, so any real threats left in the list are gone. We've got Trajan Valoris, but he's not going to be able to kill 2 knights. Gulliman is on his own. He is potent, he hits the strength 10, but I've got to get him over here. He probably dies to shooting. I've got 1 bike left. That bike can come round, shoot at the knight, charge it, see if I can chip some wounds off. Maybe I can charge from this area here, because the knight can't overwatch him, so the bike can get in without being overwatched possibly. But I'm going to be able to do very little damage to what's here. My expectation is that Brian sits on these objectives. I continue to hold this one. Obviously the Psycho can move over, do a smite, possibly. I can get a point or 2 for Kingslayer, but that's going to be limited. So basically turn 4, 5 and 6, my expectation is that Brian just slowly wipes me off the board. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been, I've made some mistakes in this game for sure, and they've cost me, but it was a tough matchup, and once those tanks are gone against this list, I'm really going to struggle. So as I said at the beginning, my preference would have really been first turn, so I could have had 2 rounds of shooting, before the knight's got here to try and taken that knight off soon and take more wounds off this, possibly. So it is what it is. I'm going to take this turn for sure now, see if we can do a little bit of something, but I think the game's up.
Yeah, cool. But guys, we are going to show you how this kind of plays out. And there's 2 strategies at this point. If you're in a tournament, you're going to play out as many points as you can, just trying to deny Brian as many kills as possible. He's going to hold more every single turn, so that's a given. He'll max out all his secondaries for ground control. You won't get any of yours for line breaker.
Yep.
And essentially you just try and deny him as many kills as you possibly can and hide everything.
Yeah.
But slowly that non-line of sight stuff's going to get you, more than likely. So it is that debate. You're not going to kill a knight, so just leave it, hide, score some points, because that's what you're playing for, is points at the end of the day. Cool, Mark. So should we keep the camera running just while you quickly wrap up your turn?
Sure.
Right, so what's going to happen first?
So I'm going to move the Psyker, so that this guy becomes the nearest unit, so it moves 6 that way.
And he's advancing.
Yeah, so I actually rolled this before, so I rolled a 6. So it'll come around here. So he's within 3 of the objective. Bike comes around here.
The reason why that's going to happen is so that that guy there can make a charge on that knight without getting overwatched. Just to give him some breathing space so he doesn't get overwatched so hard.
We may as well move these guys up. So 6 for Trajan, which takes him to about there, and then 6 for the Vexilla. And I just measured it out earlier, so basically it gives me a 11-inch charge, 12-inch charge. So if I roll 2 6s, he's in. If not, he's sat there.
But that knight won't be able to pass through there.
Yeah.
So which means that that guy would be the closest, or maybe day after he's going to come around. So
Yeah, sure.
offer a little bit of protection, maybe. Okay, cool. So
I could charge into here and try and kill this guy. Give me another kill. I got a kill in Brian's turn because when the Admech dude moved away from the Eversaw, you get 4 shots. So I could try and get a kill here, which would then I think, but Brian killed 3, so I can't get killed more, so it's pointless.
Yep, keep them hidden, mate. Keep them hidden. Because if you get them out, then you'll just die.
Pass me some dice, I'll watch you.
So smite.
Smite goes off at a 5.
Yep.
Goes off.
D3.
3.
3, cool.
Shoot him with a bike, so 12 shots. Just one more.
It's -2 on Mondays.
Okay, sounds totally reasonable. Okay, hits on 2.
A bit of a bad roll, that, mate.
Just the 18 ones there. And then it's
Just
going
the
to be
50% ones.
It's going to be 6s to wound. 2 wounds. Minus none.
Okay, 3s.
Yeah, loves it. Okay, so charges.
Yeah, that guy there is like 5 inches, isn't it?
Actually, Trajan's got a weapon with he'll hit once, 2s.
He's done 12, right?
Rerolls.
Yeah, it's within 12.
so
Yeah,
it's 2
actually, yeah,
shots.
2 shots actually. So hits. 2 hits. It's strength 5, so it's going to be 5s to wound.
2 wounds.
2 wounds. I think it's -1 2 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, -1
So
2 damage.
4s. Take 2.
Okay.
Maybe you will kill a knight.
You have got 2 Kingslayers off that.
Cool.
Okay,
Work, Mark.
charges then. So the sergeant is
Yep.
going to charge.
Can't be seen, so get him in. It's 5 in
Hit
it.
5.
Yep.
There
you
go.
go.
Lovely. Right. Knight, just push your other boy in as well. Don't even bother rolling. He's within. There's no point.
Okay.
I mean, he can go anywhere.
Right, Trajan. Let's see if you can get a 12.
Oh,
No.
not even close.
Okay. Okay, I fight first with the bike.
Yep.
You sure you don't want to charge? Fight with the other guy.
No, no.
Hey, your sergeant gets 3 attacks.
Yeah.
He's got a chainsaw.
So there's a stratagem for you can get more attacks for the
Everyone that's dead, right?
Yeah, so I'll utilise that. I think
Honor
it's
the
1
Fallen
CP,
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that gives me 2 extra attacks, and I take 1 CP off. In fact, if I roll, if I get it back, I do. So I
Okay.
don't even spend it. Okay, so hits on 2s. All it's strength 6, so it's going to be 5s to wound.
Reroll because you're charged.
Yeah.
4.
4 minus 3.
Okay, so it's 5 up and vulnerable because he's got Sanctuary. I'm going to take 2 of them.
2d3.
4. Oh, it's another Kingslayer. You're 4 off of all your Kingslayer. I'm not going to interrupt.
Okay. The
Mighty
Guardsman
Guardsman.
is going to hit on 4.
1.
1 hit. And then it's going to be 6s, nothing.
Okay.
Okay, yours to fight back, Brian.
Okay, I'm going to take... I'm going to spend a CP to use the House Crast stratagem so that he gets the Fire and Fury like no one's ever seen. What's it? Controlled Aggression is the name of that stratagem. I'm just going to take one of my stomps against the Guardsman because why not? Cool. Hit with everything, wounding on 2s. Your Guardsman's dead. And your bike, I'm going to take 9 of his attacks. These are hitting on 3s, and these 6s are exploding. I get to reroll 1s and 2s because you charged me.
Sorry, how many VT6s is that?
That's a lot of VT6s.
So if you guys would like some Vanguard Tactics dice, you can. They are purchase those from the website. Yeah.
They're blessed by me so that they roll 6s.
Yeah. It's normally Mark blessing the dice. he blessed them before he sent them over to you. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to touch them.
Doubly blessed.
I'm not allowed to touch them. Quite a lot of ones there.
Wounding on 3s.
No, we won't talk about those. Yeah, still some 6s. Look at those 6s. Vanguard Tactics 6s. Yeah.
So, any minus on that?
-2.
Minus 2, so 4 ups.
Tanks it like a boss.
Oh,
look.
jeez.
Like a boss 2.
He still takes 2. He's got 2 wounds left.
Oh.
So unless he's got a feel no pain, he's gone.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
Does he explode?
The Dawn Eagle jet bike.
If he could, he didn't.
No.
No. I'm gonna consolidate 3 inches that way because why not?
Cool. Well, guys, let's call that there. We'll do a summary roundup, go over some mistakes, maybe different opportunities, and just wrap this up with an estimation of the final score. So that concludes our game. We will do a full roundup with both players very soon, but I just wanted to give you guys the quick summary on how we managed to work everything out. There was enough units on the board of marks for Brian to get a kill every turn, which means that he would have killed and held more every single turn. And we pretty much just gave Mark a hold for every turn, as that's probably what would happen with those guardsmen in the middle until they either foul morale or were killed off the board. That would also mean that because Brian had board control, he would get 4 points for ground control. He completed his gangbusters, all of his marked for death. And unfortunately Mark wouldn't get any more of those secondaries, finishing with a 36-15 to Brian. So absolutely incredible play there, and if you would have done anything differently, pop it in the comment section below. So guys, that was it.
Sure was.
That was the Golden Boys versus the bigger boys.
Slightly bigger boys.
The slightly bigger boys. Shorter game than potentially normal, but that is sometimes how these competitive games go. So it is, and these were 2 brutal lists. Really, in sometimes when you've got lists designed the way they are, you know, they're both elite armies. You don't have many models.
No.
You don't have many models.
21.
But they've all got big guns, and when big guns fire at not many models, games happen pretty quick. But we thought we'd give you the chess clock anyway to give it some context, and obviously talk you through that. So I've got some opinions on made of the game. If you guys want to know that, let me know. But ultimately,
Good game.
Well played, wasn't it?
it was a good game actually. Mark, you were quite unfortunate at points. You know, there's some things didn't go your way, but that's how it's a dice game.
Sure it is.
We all know that too well.
I think that the dice are something not to be concerned with. They are what they are. It's mistakes that you concern yourself with because you learn from them and then you learn not to do them again, go into a different situation, and then basically don't make that same mistake twice.
Yeah, I think there's a real difference between, a lot of people moan about their dice, right, when it doesn't go their way, but they didn't mitigate the risks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can point at me. You can point at me if you want. But there is a real difference between mitigating your risks and not making mistakes.
Yeah.
And then if dice are just atrocious where you're literally unable to even act in the game, then that is annoying, right?
Yeah.
That is just one of those things which you can potentially say, okay, dice weren't great. Like me failing when I gave the other day.
Literal every smite.
I rolled a 1 and a 2. I think I failed. I got like 4 psychers in my Eldar list. I was casting 4 smites a turn, and in the first round didn't even get one off.
Well, you didn't even get a psychic power off.
No. With my helms, rerolls, all that didn't happen for me. But look, that is the game. So all I would say, guys, if you are ever worried about your dice, look inward first. Think critical. Did you make mistakes? You having a big old car park in the corner.
Yep.
Can you mitigate that risk?
Yeah.
Could you save that CP for when he exploded? I bet you'll do that next time.
Sure.
Yeah. But you see red and you go, oh, CP reroll and try and save him and.
Yeah.
Okay, that might have been. So you want to mitigate your risks at all costs. Brian, top work, mate.
Thank you.
Punished him
A little bit.
for America.
Independent.
Woo!
Yeah. Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, all that. No, it was good though. There's a lot of value in losing if you analyse where it went wrong, and then you can say, okay, did I make mistakes?
Yeah.
And you're going to make more mistakes when you're under pressure. So I make quite a few here that I will have a think about and try and we can talk about now actually, but try and resolve for the next time I play. This list that I have and I brought today, it's not in its final form. There's changes to be made, but it does require a little bit of finesse, especially when you've got quite a lot of things in Deep Strike about. You've got to make the right options and take the right choices about bringing them down in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very elite army, and you've got to know exactly the ins and outs of absolutely everything. So that game finished up basically as a 37 to you. It was a very high score. You maxed out all your secondaries, and a 15 for you.
Okay.
So let's take a look at the secondary picks. Starting with you, you picked
Gangbusters?
Gangbusters, definitely the right choice. Okay, because Mark, what needs to be aggressive with those big units that you just mop up and kill. Yeah. What else did you take?
Mark for death on the grav tanks and the Terminators. Once again, he has to be aggressive with them, and they need to be my target priority.
So again, 4 nice points there.
And then ground control, because either I'm going to win this game and be able to take the ground, or I'm going to lose the game and not.
Yeah. And sometimes having a recon or whatever it might be actually might mitigate your ability to move around if you want to, and it might have prevented you from scoring the bonus point every single. I think you've got that 5 turns, which is
4.
massive.
Oh no, 5, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like having an additional secondary when you score that many bonus points. Mark, over to you, mate. Secondaries. Kingslayer number 1.
Kingslayer, yeah.
And in the end, you got it pretty much.
Yeah.
You got 3 out of that. 3 of the 4 from the ended up smite in the charge there.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
We'll never know if Trajan would have maybe died in the shooting phase in turn 4 or 5, and would he have made a charge, and could he have actually got another Kingslayer point for you maybe?
Yeah.
Potentially. But let's just assume, maybe you do a couple more smites over the course of the game, maybe you max out.
37-15, it's only a couple of points, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you're playing a game that's 18-15, then that's a big difference, isn't
But
it?
I think, still keeping on the subject of the secondaries, was Kingslayer the right choice? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. The other secondary you went for was Titan Hunter.
Slayer.
Slayer, yeah.
Slate, I'm getting that confused. Big Game Hunter, Titan, Slayer. You got 3 of those points. Again, pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Linebreaker.
Behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines.
Sorry, behind enemy lines, the old school linebreaker.
Yeah.
But obviously scored at the start of your turn. Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
Not a great choice.
Why not?
It would have been. I would have started to collect that had I dropped the bikes here, but I dropped the bikes, as I was saying in the filming earlier. I dropped the bikes to try and do some damage to those knights, to tie them up, to keep them there. I'll be honest with you that I've not not faced two knights together, in the same area with. I had some Terminators, I had some bikes. They didn't really make that much of a punch, and maybe I didn't have enough of them.
Yeah.
So that was the issue. I had the full 3 Terminators. I had a round's worth of combat, and they did a handful of wounds. It wasn't like taking the knight down, half of its.
I think you've got a couple. I think you've got a couple of problems there. I think when you play against a list like Brian's, he's going to come at you. Okay, so therefore you're on the defensive. Okay, you need to have your bikes free to deep strike wherever they need to be, but committing to a line breaker, you're basically telling Brian, I'm going to split my army in two, and I'm going to put some bikes over here, and my assassin. Well, the assassin's actually quite easy to take down, as Goblin. Maybe deep striking him on that objective was the wrong choice.
Sure.
I was hoping you would deep strike here with the Eversaw, go into combat with the one single guy, kill him, and then you get that objective instead.
Yeah.
And then you're much further away from Bobby G, and now you're in his deployment zone. And now it's going to take up. Now the other Greyer guys can't shoot you. He survives, and you just keep him there. That's probably what I'd have done. But again, you've got to constantly think when you are playing. This is something we did on the masterclass: is what secondaries have I got? How am I going to score those secondaries? The assassin could do it, but it's hard. I think the other thing there with line breaker is, like we said before, is very much I'm telling you what I'm going to do, and it can be quite difficult. Or it's very easy for Brian to deny that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there would have been a better choice to put him in this area here, charge that character, try and come round if needed, and kill those other guys, sit on those objectives, sit on that objective here. Like you say, it would have been a bit further away, and then he would start getting those points.
You would have got to kill every turn, and sort of slowly mop them up. In regards to the list, your list, Mark, the Terminators I feel are a bit of a waste of a points, because there's not enough of them. That I don't think we talk about this a lot in regards to. And I know why you've took them. You wanted to see what they can do.
Yep.
Obviously, they are a recent purchase. You've just got them painted, getting them on the table to show you guys obviously what they can do. But again, actually, it shows that 3 just isn't enough. Normally now in the meta, if you're facing like 30 orcs, you probably need enough of them to go in and do a good old chunk, maybe 10 to 15, kills to orcs. You need to be able to go in the end of the day, they're your counter punch unit, so they need to counter punch hard. They can't counter punch and just give Brian a little bit of a tickle. Exactly.
Not the Pillsbury Doughboy.
So I think maybe more you either maybe drop the bikes and invest more into the Terminators, so you have one maybe 4-man unit of bikes and then lots more Terminators in perhaps. That's maybe a swap. Trajan,
I want to talk about. I'd like to broach this now. So first and foremost, as we said at the beginning, the debut for the Custodies. Obviously, I've taken some guard because I really need that CP and I really need some troops to sit on objectives.
And they did great, absolutely great for you. Yeah, I think they were man of the match. These guys.
Yeah. So I haven't gone pure Custodies.
The ones that are hiding right in front of us.
Yeah, in the magic box. Here's the deal, right? 3 tanks. 3 Custodies Graph tanks, 220 points each, so 660 points, okay? They hit on 2s, 8 shots at strength 8, -3, D3 damage, and then 6 shots, -2, 1 damage each, strength 6. So they're pumping out 14 shots a turn, they are -2 to charge, they're really useful, really great for 220 points. Now, 185 points for Trajan, gives all 3 tanks reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound. Really good, and there's plenty of extra wounds been tallied up, in this game and others where I've played them from those reroll 1s, so definitely useful. The Vexilla gives them all 3 tanks within 6, you place it within 6, -1, but he's at about 130 points. So you are nearly, in fact you're over 300 extra points. So where could I have used that? Well, that's another 3 or 4 Terminators. So if you've got, I'm not sure on the unit max
you have to
size.
take a HQ anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to take 112, 120 points for a shield captain, something around there.
Something like that.
A shield captain on Dawn Eagle's about 150, I think.
160.
Yeah.
But you don't really save anything there, right? So you could just take a regular, because you use Trajan today just to move with those guys. So if you are just going to take in, the compulsory HQ choice, just keep him moving and advancing with those guys. To keep it cheap, only invest the reroll ones you still get. You don't get the reroll ones to wound, but still get reroll ones to hit. They won't be -1. The banner does allow your Terminators to deep strike in and do something for you.
Yeah.
So that is a good strategy there. But if you know you're just not going to do it, then maybe just take more Terminators or more bikes, or you just really double down on more firepower. So maybe you put a Land Raider in, maybe you put a Telemon in as well, and you drop the Terminators out and you just go, right, I've just got a shooty list, I'm going to hide, you're going to get in range, I'm going to take a knight off the board, and I'm going to guarantee to take one off the board with more guns. Because the problem with combat is that you have to wait till, in your list, you have to wait till turn 2. A couple of mistakes I think you made was you gifted away your 3 bikes too easily.
I did, yeah.
They didn't, that was a waste of 300 points, whatever they cost, straight away. You're basically playing a 1600 point game.
Yeah, so I...
1700, should I say.
Brian and I discussed it in deployment, and I said, are we clear that we're block line of sight here? But then he moved so he could see in the corner of one, which was absolutely right. So, but it was my fault because what I'd done was I'd not, if I'd moved him over an inch, I would have kept him in play a little bit longer. I was hoping to move him out, shoot and charge Unite.
Guys, a really good tactic there, by the way, is walk round to your opponent's side, place 2 dice where the current knight is, and say, do you mind if I move your knight? And they'll probably go, no, I'm sure that's fine. So you put the knight down, you then move him 12 inches. Now can I see? Because I did that, didn't I? When we did our, you wouldn't know this because then you were out, but I actually did that.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and I thought, you said, I'd like to kill those bikes, and I said, well, it's actually left you. Like, I could see that.
Got you.
But I've got fresh eyes, to do that. But that's kind of what you need to constantly do is, what does my opponent see? What can they do against me? And it's those small things at this level in the game which cost you. So you might be watching thinking, Custodies are rubbish, or Mark just got smashed or whatever. It's not like that. These mistakes are so minuscule, but they really cost. They really do. It's a game of inches, it really is. Trajan, you put behind the tanks. I said you should have put him in front of the tanks because you still had enough stuff here that wasn't going to die turn 1 anyway. That means he's 6 inches closer. He moves through terrain then, another 6 inches closer. Then he's, when you needed him most, when the Terminators got into here, he would have also made it in, right? So you'd have had Trajan in, and I know we kind of had that thing about the bikes here, but committing them there. So you've got Trajan charging, you've got these guys charging, and you've got the bikes charging. And if you'd have put the other unit of bikes in deep strike as well, you'd have had another unit of bikes charging. That knight goes, they consolidate into him. He can't kill everything. He kills the Terminators, but Trajan and the bikes then kill him. That's a different game. And that is literally from 2 mistakes or 3 mistakes there. Maybe not
one deployment thing.
Which you should have just put in deep strike. Number 2, Trajan should have been in the front and much closer to because you had all the guard in front of him anyway, and they were hidden. So you've only got 10 shots or 12 shots maximally. So you only killed 4 guardsmen. Cool. So outplacing those in deep strike, Trajan there, not putting the bikes in the right place to charge. 3 little mistakes essentially cost you that game. Or maybe the assassin and then we'd be talking probably about the points completely swapped over.
Almost, looking at just the first turn, it was 4-2 because I had no shots. My second turn, I would have had a couple more shots, and even if Mark had gone first, I don't think it would have changed nearly as much as those small things, and it's minuscule. We from the masterclass yesterday, it was, if I just declare this charge here as well, I can get there and I can
just
Yeah.
pivot just
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
in and get the whole thing. And so there's all sorts of different
Yeah.
minor things, but as soon as you change that, now the variance in the dice, and we both had good dice and bad dice everywhere, but the variance in the dice go away.
Yeah.
Sure, and we were saying yesterday that in that situation, that is what takes you from 3 and 2 to 4 and 1, 5 and 0 at a tournament. There's those small things, and compulsively never making those, small mistakes.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
And I think that was what the guys took away most from yesterday, was that personal one-to-one coaching. Like, this has kind of been a coaching session for you, really,
Yeah,
on how to
absolutely,
kill 3 knights with your list. You've never played this list before against 3 knights, so it was a new experience for you. But having that coaching, next time you would go into this matchup, it'd be different. You'd be a lot more confident, and that's the whole point of Vanguard Tactics. Is we want to help you feel more empowered so that you can go to a tournament, so you can rock up and go play against, Brian with his 3, Crusaders or whatever it is you're playing. You go, I know how this works. I'm familiar with this. I understand your tactics, their tactics, and you can enjoy the game because you're not there thinking, oh, my dice are rubbish, or oh, your army's too good. It gives you a much more positive experience because you feel empowered and you know that you can, just be the best tabletop strategist or strategist, and enjoy the game for exactly what it is. But guys, if you like that video, please do subscribe, and if you want to get the lists, and we've even got a better than meta video on how to kill knights for free. That is over on our website, www.vanguardtactics.com. Subscribe to our emails. I think it's like the second email you get sent from me is how to kill knights. Okay, a full-blown video on some little strategies and tactics. So it's free information on there. And I always do a weekly email where I tell you about lessons learned that I've experienced and ways that you can improve. So guys, thank you so much. Also, thanks to all of our supporters. Thank you for Goblin Gaming for supporting this channel. Thank you to all of our Patreons, and ultimately, most importantly, thank you, Brian, for travelling all this way.
Glad to be here.
And Mark, well done. Good game, guys, and we'll see you all soon.
See you soon. Cheers, guys.
6s. Oh!
Suffering.
No swearing, it's not allowed. So guys, we've got a little, not.
It's a joke. He's definitely on me.
Medium. Surprised.
6 inches.
I was going to say, we've got a little surprise.
Sorry, let's keep going.
Okay, we'll cut that. That can go in the outtakes.